All
So
right.
I think I remember the last thing we left off on, so I'll say it again.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So basically, what you were telling me is that, you know, throughout your process of high production and as a filmmaker, you probably came into that setting of thinking that. But as you were going along with this documentary, you said you realized that being real and being relatable to people is, using what we have at hand is in a phone. And right now you're kind of educating and inspiring brands and saying, hey, look, as a creator and showing your brand or your business, you really need to connect more on that human level, and you don't need this huge production as well. Is that kind of what you're doing with your creative agency?
That's exactly right. And it's faster to do, it's cheaper to do, and it's a higher bang for your buck because we've really ironed out the TikTok process and what
Hmm.
works on TikTok and what doesn't. So as soon as we bring on a client, within the first week of them working with us, they're already like, oh wow, okay, now I see the power of this platform.
Yeah. And what would you say, like, for brands or businesses listening, what are those qualities that you like when you're talking to a client? How do you tell them, this is the new way? What are those things that you say? Like, what are the things that brands should be looking for when it comes to production?
Um, being really aggressive in terms of volume and keeping authenticity as a core value.
Hmm.
It's really like three things. It's consistency, high volume, and authenticity.
Yeah.
You want to be aggressive. Like it's a conversation with the client. Like, okay, what does our budget allow us to do? Does it allow us to do 10 posts a day, 20 posts a day? Okay, so 20 posts a day, great. Now we're going to have to be consistent with that. We can't skip a day. We can't do 10 one day and do 15 another day and then 20 another day.
Hmm.
So high volume, consistent, and authentic. We put those three together for our clients, and produces significant results.
Absolutely. And then during that time, like with the high volume, is it just constantly like testing? Excuse me, like you're like testing different ways within it, like maybe different video quality styles, different storylines, different aspects, and then you see what it sticks, and then do you then change the strategy up to do more videos like that, but still higher volumes?
Yeah, so we keep the volume up, and within that volume, we call them slots,
Hmm.
and every video has its own slot. So I mean, every video is considered a slot, and
Hmm.
a slot is categorized as a theme or subject or target audience, whatever the goal is. So say one slot is inspire.
Right.
And so within that slot, every day at that slot's dedicated time, we post an inspiring video. And then there's entertaining, there's informative, there's comedic, there's sales, whatever it is. And
Right.
then we've built a system in that watches those slots, sees how they perform, and cycles out low performing spots
Right.
and cycles in new experimental stuff. And as the experimental stuff does well, that stays in, and the stuff that isn't performing well is kicked out.
Yep.
Um, and then over time, you end up with this like highly optimized posting schedule
Right.
that every single slot is already proven to have gone viral at one point. Within a 3 month period, you're only working with proven material.
Absolutely, because I think that's really important. So I think a lot of brands or even creators in general have one of the biggest failures is that they try to niche down too specific in the beginning with their strategy. Like it's so specific, and they're not creating enough volume because they're just so focused on this one thing and thinking that's what's going to work because they've seen other creators or something that works for them. But what I found as well, like watching creators, is that those that come in with kind of like a broad aspect to it, like having different slots, like you said, like inspiring, but this, having all these different like mythologies like coming to it, and they're able to increase their volume, they're able to see what works and be able to improve on those that do, and then take away those that don't. And I think that's why, you know, your clients see success so quickly, is because they're doing that strategy versus just maybe they niche down too much and are only thinking about inspire, but maybe that doesn't work
Right.
for them. Like,
Right.
because it does, and every, you know, thing doesn't work for everybody. Regardless, you could even be like a very similar brand, but maybe you just don't have that authentic vibe to that specific slot or criteria within your videos. So, do you like? Would you agree that that's something that brands or creators in general fail, being too specific sometimes?
You know, that's a good question. If a creator is listening to this,
Hmm.
I'd say just like, you know, don't worry about strategy and niche and um, you know, like your number one focus should be having fun. And then everything starts from there. And as your goals and your intentions become bigger,
Hmm.
then you know start to nail down a process. But if you're just like, hey, I want to have fun, I want to express myself, I want to attract a large audience, then like if that's your motivating, if those are your motivations, then just do what you want. But if you're working with businesses like I do, they want to see
Hmm.
results, and they want a structured plan, and they want KPIs, and they want milestones, and I get that, right?
Right.
So for that reason, I highly encourage brands um, to have a consistent system like this, something that's automated, that will, you know, removes human error, holds your hand along the way. So yeah, I don't want creators to listen to this be like, oh, I need to post 20 times a day. I need slots. I need categories. I need
Yeah,
a system that say no, just have fun. Just have fun.
it is true. I mean, you mentioned the word authentic, and I think when you even like, but even brands do that too. If it's too like, you can almost feel when somebody's trying too hard in a way. If you're just
Yeah.
authentic and put it out there, like first time, like I do talk to some creators and they've had success. And you know, I had a girl on my show recently who's having a lot of success right now with her videos, and she mentioned something that, you know, her name's Ella Watkins, by the way, but she mentioned that sometimes she goes back to her videos and editing, and there's just something like she doesn't feel like it's good because she kind of said something wrong. And then she started realizing, I'm going to leave those in because that's just the authentic first go kind of feel vibe. And she said for some reason, those videos where she just like lets go of her mindset of just because it was fun and in the moment, she keeps it in there. That's those videos seem to do better. And I think it's true. Like people can feel that authenticity through videos and you can see it. Like those that I see on my For You page that I really love, it's because it just feels so relatable and real. Like I was in the room with them watching it in that time. It wasn't like scripted. It was just fun and you could just feel it.
Yeah, and if you're consistent enough, there will be an audience that develops around you.
Hmm.
But you have to make the decision of like, do I want this audience to love me for who I am, or do I want them to love an ideal version of me? One is going to happen if you're consistent enough and you're
Hmm.
patient enough. So choose. And if you choose that this audience of people will love the authentic version of you, it's going to be a much easier process. It'll even be quicker. Just the difficult part is you know, first you have to love yourself,
Yeah.
and you have to be okay with who you are, and you know, stop cutting out your stuttering, stop cutting out your failures, your missteps, and you know, show them the real you, and it'll be great. You know, once it actually hits, it'll be great because it's like, oh wow, they like me, they really really like me.
Yeah. And then when people meet you, so like for instance, my daughter has 2.5 million followers on the app, right? And when people meet her, I've always told her in the beginning, just be yourself because you can't, when people meet you in person and you're maybe something different than you portray, it's going to be really awkward. So if you're just always yourself, then when people meet you, they're like, wow, she's really is like that, or she's really fun in that way. and I think that's really important is, everybody that does meet her, they're like, you're so nice, you're so real, you really are like these videos. And I think that's so exciting as a person, that people really love you as a person versus like you said, this fake persona, this thing that you want people to think you are. And then, you people might meet you and realize that isn't who they are, which we see that sometimes, I think, with the traditional celebrities out there, who we almost felt like they were somebody else because of a character they play. And then maybe you meet them in person and you're like, wow, they're actually not the nicest, or they're actually nicer than their character is. So there's lots of interesting things there. I really like that. Is there any like other tips that you would give to brands or businesses outside of these areas we talked about?
Um, I would recommend that every brand or business hire an in-house creator, somebody that's there to document, record, or just create content that attracts your target customer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you don't have an in-house creator, I suggest looking for companies or creators such as myself that provide that service. And the reason I say it is because right now we are right on the tail end of these platforms being oversaturated.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're already there, to be honest, but I do think there's still room, but it won't last long. And this boom that we see in people uh, gaining huge followings overnight, it will fade, just like YouTube faded.
Yep.
And it'll eventually become commercial, and you won't be able to swipe through the FYP without seeing 10 Justin Bieber music videos first.
Right.
So that day will come, and it'll come very soon. And it's up to businesses now to get in while the getting's good and stake their place in the ground, and
Mhm.
that's what we're helping businesses do.
Yeah, it is true. My podcast has been going for over a year, and I've been telling people from a year ago, saying, look, you're one day going to listen to my podcast and take some of this advice that I've had. But I've been telling you since day one that you should have started then, because it was a lot easier and there was a lot more room for error and like really more testing. Now you have to be like, you still have room to like grow and try things out, but it is true. It's way harder. I mean, I've seen it tighten down just even within some big creators' views. We've talked, and some of my creators have had their views are not as consistent anymore. It's getting a lot harder, regardless of even how big you've grown on the app. You have to really fight for every slot on that For You page now. And I agree, we're going to see that become more and more and more tight, just like YouTube. Like, to be able to break out in on YouTube, I think they say only one creator per year really breaks out, which is crazy. That's like, there's like 9 billion of us or whatever even on the planet. Thinking of like one person out there to just even be able to get seen and break out. Eventually it's going to be like that with TikTok, and I see it coming slow. Like, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but just like YouTube kind of lost sight of what made them great in the beginning, and TikTok filled that gap.
Hmm.
TikTok will inevitably lose sight of it, and then something else will come and fill the gap. So it's on us as creators and agency owners to keep our ear to the ground, uh, like which platforms are on the rise.
Yeah, I mean, we constantly see that, and then, this movie, it's just like I was saying before, Spider-Man reboot. How many Spider-Mans have there been, and will there be another Spider-Man in the future? Absolutely, like they probably will. That's just how we are. We recycle things, and somebody else will play that character, just like a platform. Somebody else will be that main movie that we all jump to in the future. So it is
Exactly.
true. It's always, about keeping your ear out and understanding what's going to be next. And I think TikTok will be around for a while though.
Oh yeah.
And they're, yeah. So this is still something that people definitely need to be, putting a lot of their like their focus on, if they want to be in the social media game and being able to be seen.
100%.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to so talk to me a little bit about how people can follow along this documentary, and is there a way for them to be involved?
Yeah, actually, so for I feel like maybe we said it or maybe we didn't, but Are You Happy is a documentary series in which I travel around the world and ask random strangers if they're happy,
Mhm.
and then I kind of feature, through that question, I give a platform to their life story, at least a little bit of it. So the documentary will be done in the next month or so. If you would like to interview people in your city and ask them if they're happy, you could go to www.happypeople.me/creators. It's also, if you could put it in the show notes, and then you sign up there and you'll receive an email with a Google Drive link to start submitting your interviews. We already have 10,000 people that have signed up, which is really, really awesome. So yeah,
That's awesome. So basically, regardless of where you are in the world, you can sign up and be able to interview people within your cities and ask them, "Are you happy?" and hear their story and learn those inspiring moments. That's basically what anybody can do to help along with this.
exactly, exactly.
And and you've probably had some really incredible videos come in from people who've signed up, have you?
Oh my God, it's amazing to think about where we started and where we are now. Wow, wow, it's crazy how life goes. Like I was like 50 pounds fatter, alone, in a car, had just quit my full time job, had very little direction, unsure of where this would end up, if anybody would ever like it. And now it's a global platform with 10,000 people around the world doing the same thing. I lost 50 pounds. Um,
Nice.
and yeah, it's just been an amazing experience.
Wow, what an incredible journey to hear, and I love it. You just took your passions, your dreams to tell somebody's, the world's story, and here you are with all the success, and along the way you got healthier, that's a huge win in itself. Man, I need to jump on that myself, man. COVID was not good for me. So I'm working on that too. But no, that's really cool. So people can go to, if they want to learn a lot more about this and watch some of the videos, and they can go to happypeople.me. Is that correct?
Yeah, happypeople.me, and then it'll take you to the whole show.
Perfect. And then on your socials, they can find you on TikTok as Are You Happy? Is that correct?
Yeah, TikTok, Are You Happy? Instagram, Are You Happy Official? Twitter, Are You Happy?
Awesome. Those of you that are listening, check out the show notes. I have links to every social channel. Also, the link directly to if you wanted to sign up and help become one of the creators who create some of these videos asking people, "Are you happy?" And so, I really appreciate your time today and coming on the show. And I think that a lot of people can learn from this show, and hearing your journey is really inspiring. So I really appreciate the time today to talk to me and be on the Biz Talk for TikTok podcast.
Dude, thank you so much for inviting me. It means a lot.
Absolutely.